demo. We've had, Colin's not here to tell me to increase my screen. We've had this long-standing issue with schema models where if your schema gets too big, so I've generated this big schema that has 1,000 tables, 100 columns each table, and I get this message, right? Which is basically like, Omni is not really going to work with this model. Sorry, like figure it out. Conrad and I were talking, and we had this idea. It actually came up with DBT dev schemas to introduce this new parameter to put a schema in Omni in a new kind of state, where basically you're saying like this schema will be, I can see this schema, I can model on this schema, I can query the schema, but it won't go into the schema model directly. So if I do this, update it, and then I write the demo gods, I didn't get the steps wrong here. Thinking. Okay, so yeah, you see the validation warning went away. And I was like, well, how did it go away? What's actually going on? If I go to new analysis for model, which you'll notice loaded very quickly, the only thing from big schema I meant to show, I have this. Yeah, right. I touched this one place, table 002. And so that's there. Nothing else is there. It's only there if I go to the schema selector and select it. And that load is slow. That has 1,000 tables. I can go in if I want and model more stuff. Ooh. And everything's suffering a little bit, but now I think I didn't actually test this, but if I get out of the schema view, yeah, now table 1's there too, right? So like I can kind of bring things in, but my model is not huge. And so the consequence of this is that you don't have all of these tables that you haven't touched sitting in Git. You don't have them in all views and fields, but I think for a lot of people, they actually don't care or they don't want them in there until they touch them. And so it's not a behavior change for anyone who doesn't go in and set this, just not set it, nothing will change. But it's useful for, we haven't shipped this yet, to be clear. But like it's useful for DBT dev schemas. And it's also useful if you just have some big schema that's just sitting there making your life hard, but you don't want to just exclude it. Because if you exclude it, right, you'll never be able to use it in the SQL. You won't be able to model any single table off it. So anyway, that change, sorry, kind of long demo, is kind of a big conceptual change, but I think we're gonna ship that.
Steven, could we like in that warning message and stuff, could we tell people about this feature and stuff and like be like, hey, maybe like these are really big, might you want to go?
Yeah, we can throw that in with the included schemas. Yeah, included schemas, offloaded schemas, so many
schemas. But like any of those, like I'm just wondering if like even like for existing customers, like once it ships, like in those like error messages or any of those things, be like, hey, there's this new feature.
Yeah, totally. We should put it in. We should put it in those that error. Both. There's two different places where we throw that error message. We should put it in both of them. Yeah.
Sweet.